What is up, YouTube? Mr. King coming to you live from the studio. Here are the notes for today. We're going to be taking kinetic and potential energy notes. So the essential question for the day is, how fast do you fall while skydiving? I couldn't show the Deadpool 2 clip in class. It's a little too graphic, but if you're curious, watch it on YouTube. So just some review, remember the law of conservation, where energy and matter can't be created or destroyed. You have to get it from somewhere, and you can't get rid of it either. When you try and get rid of something, it always ends up somewhere. Kinetic energy is energy from moving, whereas gravitational potential energy is energy you get from being high up. Okay? So we're going to start. Please write down the kinetic energy formula. So the kinetic energy formula says to calculate something's kinetic energy, you take 1/2 times its mass times its velocity squared. Times velocity squared. If you don't know what squared is basically it times itself. So velocity times velocity is equal to velocity squared. So if you're trying to get 6 squared, or let's say 15 squared, that would be the same thing as 15 times 15. Okay? Make sure you know how to square things, because that tripped up a lot of people in class today. And the shorthand for the kinetic energy formula is K equals 1/2 times m, which is mass, times v squared, velocity squared. Okay? You're going to try and do a practice problem today. First one. Oh, I also want you to write units for energy are written in joules, named after the person that did a lot of energy research back in the day. So if your answer is 100 for energy, write 100J for the answer. First one, what is your kinetic energy? If you weigh 60 kilograms and are sprinting on a track going 10 meters per second, try and calculate your energy in joules. All right, pause the video now, try and do it yourself. Remember, it is 1/2 times m times v squared. So always start, fill in what you know. Do we know K, do we know M, and do we know V? Okay, hopefully you noticed. We don't know K, but we know M, we know V is 10. So you take 1/2 times M, which is 60, times 10 squared. So 1/2 times 60 times 10 squared, and you should end up with 3,000 joules. That's a lot of energy while you're sprinting. Next one, this one's a little tricky. A cop charges you for speeding, but you want to prove the cop wrong using physics. The speed limit is 35 miles per hour, which is 15 meters per second. However, your Tesla says you only used 98,000 joules of electricity. Your Tesla is just that advanced. Your Tesla weighs 1,000 kilograms. Calculate your velocity in meters per second to prove you weren't speeding to the judge. Hint, you will need to square root something, and your answer should be close to 15, because when you're driving, you're going to be driving close to the speed limit. So please pause video, try and solve for your velocity using the formula in the problem. I'll give you a hint. First step, always figure out what you know. Do you know K? Do you know M? And do you know V? Okay? Now, I'm going to go over it. So, remember, KE equals 1/2 mv squared. Okay? We know K. Kinetic energy was the same as the joules for electricity. So that's 98,000. So right now I'm just going to plug in what I know. It's equal to 1/2 times, we do know M. M is the weight, and that's 1,000. But we don't know V. I gave you the speed limit, which is 15, but you don't know how actually fast the car was going. So we're trying to get V. Okay? So having this formula, we want V by itself. So to get V by itself, to undo all the multiplying, you're going to divide. And we want V by itself, so you need to divide both sides by 1/2 times 1,000. You can do the math, and 1/2 times 1,000 is 500, or you can just put it in the calculator. 1/2 times, but you have to keep it in parentheses for it to work because of order operations. Times 1,000. The 1/2 and 1,000 cancel out, and we're left with V squared equals 98,000 divided by 500, which is a 1/2 times 1,000. If you put it on calculator, you'll get V squared is equal to 196. We're not done though. We have V squared, but we want V. To undo the square root, or to undo the square, we need to do a square root. So the square root of 196 is 14. So V is 14. That is how fast you were actually going. And you're going to show your calculation to the judge, and that's how you know the cop was wrong. You were only going 14 meters per second and not 15, so you should not get that speeding ticket. I go over detail on the problem in more detail. I posted that earlier today. Next, could you write down gravitational potential energy? So to calculate something's potential energy from gravity, you take its mass, which it weighs, times the acceleration of gravity, times height. The number for acceleration of gravity on Earth is always going to be 9.8. Okay? So please write this formula and write the shorthand too. PE, potential energy, equals m mass times gravity times the height. And here are the units for each one. Mass is in kilograms, acceleration of gravity is always 9.8 on Earth, and height is in meters. And then remember, the energy, the final answer will be in joules. Okay? Please pause the video now and write it down. Next, I have a problem for you. You have a penny over the ledge of the Empire State Building, which is 1,500 meters tall. A penny weighs 0.1 kilograms. Could a penny falling off the Empire State Building kill somebody? Note, 1,500 joules can kill someone. So I want you to show me, using your potential energy calculation, whether someone throwing a penny off the ledge should be charged with murder. Okay? Show me your math. Try and calculate the potential energy. Please pause the video now and try and figure it out. Hopefully you notice I gave you the height, the mass, and gravity on Earth is 9.8. So you take the mass times 9.8 times 1,500. Okay? So 1470 is less than the 1,500 joules that you would need to kill someone. So throwing a penny over the ledge will not kill anyone, thankfully. The guy did a little joke about it. You can watch that later. Last one. You're on the Chavez basketball team, and unfortunately you lost to Edison last week. To punish the team, the coach offers a choice of punishment. Would you rather have an 8-ball dropped on your foot from 1 meter up, or a basketball from 5 meters up? Use evidence from your calculations to support your choice for punishment. Note, an 8-ball weighs 2 kilograms and a basketball weighs 0.5 kilograms. Okay, so try and do the math. Whichever one has more energy, in theory, will hurt your foot more. So please try and calculate it now. Here's my hint. Okay. See, remember you take the weight, m, so the 8-ball weighs 2, and then times 9.8 times the 1 meter up. The basketball weighs 0.5 times gravity times the 5 meters up. So you'll end up with 24.5 joules for the basketball and 19.6 joules for the 8 ball. So you should, in theory, pick the 8 ball. Okay, last thing notes, please write where is your energy when you're in the plane, and where does your energy go while you are falling. Okay, that's the last thing. Thank you so much everyone for sticking around for the whole video. Have a great day. Bye.